Hey guys, Ty Lord here with a movie review along with some food. I got to redeem myself for that Dollar Tree nacho and movie night. Even though I didn't spend that much, I found something way better for cheaper right here, not from Dollar Store. I don't want to knock the Dollar Store too much. I should have known what I was in for with those Dollar Tree nachos. Um, but I did enjoy the movie and all that. But I found something much better today. Hopefully the movie's better too. Laser Mission with Brandon Lee here. I'm pretty sure this is public domain or something. It's probably on YouTube for free, but I got that for cheaper than the $1.25 tree, 95 cents. Brandon Lee and Laser Mission. And instead of Dollar Tree nachos, I got El Pollo chicken nachos here. Look at that. I got for $5.50. I made it a large diet soda. I upped the size of the soda, but I got the sauce here. El Pollo Loco chicken nachos with a big soda for $5.50. So $5.50 plus 95 cents. $6.45. Very cheap, a lot cheaper than my Dollar Tree evening. So I'm gonna watch this movie and eat these beautiful nachos here, and then I'll come back with a review. I'll have more trivia and stuff about this movie. I can't believe I've never seen it because I'm into movies like this 90s action martial art movies. So I'll come back with a review of this and talk about these lovely nachos here. So see you then. Peace. Okay guys, I finished my nachos from El Pollo Loco and finished watching Laser Mission here with Brandon Lee and Ernest Borgnine with a catchy theme song there. Okay, so this is Laser Mission from 1989, directed by a guy named B.J. Davis. And I didn't really see much of what he had directed, other than I saw he's been a stuntman in about 150 movies. So quite a few movies you've probably seen or heard of, he's been a stuntman or done stunt coordination for. So that's something going for this movie. This movie has a lot of stunts. It has a lot of car chases, mostly involving Volkswagens. It has a lot of shooting, a lot of cars blowing up, a lot of cars flipping over. Very low budget. I'm accustomed to watching these Don the Dragon Wilson, like Roger Corman productions lately, or the PM Entertainment stuff, or the Jalal Merhi produced stuff lately, and it's way better. They're way better than this movie. This thing has Brandon Lee going for it, though. So that is what I like about this movie, is Brandon Lee is very charismatic. This is probably, I think people consider this his worst movie, like the lowest point in his short career. But man, he has some charisma in this. He's a really funny guy in this. He doesn't do too much kung fu. He does a few cool moves. He has a few moves like quite a lot like his dad. He has the charisma of his dad. This is the first time I've ever seen this, and he might even bring the charisma to the next level. I know Bruce Lee was a showman ever since he was a little kid, so a lot of people don't realize like Bruce Lee was an actor before a martial artist, and it really comes through on the movies. Like, he has such a good presence, and Brandon Lee's the same way here. But it looks like he got these low budget movies that I don't mind, but they're not it for everyone. But I enjoyed this one. It has sort of a James Bond flavor. It's called Laser Mission, but there's not one frickin' laser in the whole movie. It's sort of a spy action espionage movie. Brandon is he plays a character called Michael Gold, who was like a freelance agent that the CIA hired to go retrieve a diamond. Oh no, so a diamond, one of the biggest diamonds mined out of Africa, was stolen by this aristocratic guy that lives in Africa. His name's Eckhart. The actor's name is Werner Pochath. He has a really weird, unique look. Like, I know I've seen him before in other movies, but I can't quite place it. But he has like a weird, unique look for pretty good villain look. And he's working with a Soviet general. This all takes place in Africa. It's like a Soviet occupied country in Africa. Anyway, so the bad guys steal a big diamond, and they kidnap a professor, Professor Braun, who is played by Ernest Borgnine. Ernest Borgnine plays like a Russian or a German or something. He has an accent. I've never seen really Ernest Borgnine with an accent, but he plays a laser professor that works with lasers. And I guess the bad guys stole this big laser, or this big crystal. Pardon me. They stole this big diamond to use it to have the professor make a laser. The movie starts off, Brandon Lee's infiltrating this country, and he's trying to get a hold of Ernest Borgnine to bring him back to the United States, but he gets captured, and Ernest Borgnine gets captured. And then Brandon Lee has a big prison break scene where he shoots a lot of guys and beats up a lot of guys. A lot of little funny one-liners. Anyway, so Brandon goes back to his superiors in the United States, and he's you're a loose cannon, gold or whatever. It's just the typical banter between the superiors. But he wants to go back to save Ernest Borgnine because he's a nice man, and so they say, okay, well, you can go back, and your contact is his daughter, and his daughter Alicia, his daughter. Go talk to her, and she's a veterinarian in Africa, and she's also KGB. So she's your contact. Go talk to her and see what happened, or if you can find her father, or find out who would know about what happened to her father. Okay, so he goes to meet this girl, and it's this really pretty blonde, typical 80s look, the frizzy hair, blonde. She kind of talks like Bernadette Peters. She has a funny voice. She's kind of like a ditzy Barbie doll, but it turns out she can like really handle herself with weapons, and she can really drive a car really good. And her and Brandon Lee go back and forth. Brandon Lee's pretty funny in this. And that girl that plays Alicia, her name is Debbie Mohan. I've never seen her in anything else, but she's pretty funny in this. A lot of stuff like James Bond. A lot of this movie, they're stuck in the desert. There's a chase with a Volkswagen bus. The bad guys are trying to get him, and there's all kinds of shooting and blowing up. They're racing through the city somewhere in Africa. I think it might be a made-up country. It's like Soviet occupied. And the bad guys are chasing them through the city, and they're shooting stuff and blowing stuff up, and she's driving the Volkswagen bus. Anyway, and they end up out in the desert. It kind of reminds me of a Bond movie, like Spy Who Loved Me. She's wearing like a something you go out to a club in, like a shortcut dress. She's a lot of eye candy in this. Like, she's always they really exploit the cleavage in this. Wearing this like pretty like club or dress, or like those typical 90s type or 80s dresses like you'd see women wear in movies, like when they go out to a dinner or club. And Brandon Lee's in his dress suit, so it's very James Bond-esque. So they go take this Winnebago out to the desert, and it breaks down. It kind of reminds me of The Spy Who Loved Me with Roger Moore and Barbara Bach. And they're walking through the desert. He's got his dress suit on with a holster, with the gun holster, and she's in the dress and the high heels, and they're going across the desert trying to escape. So really James Bond type vibes. And they don't get along with each other. There's a lot of tension between them, and he's always trying to get at her, and she's always a real B word to him. So yeah, she comes off as like a ditzy airhead Barbie doll type character, but then like I guess she's more than one dimensional because she can like fight really good, and and drive a car really good. And she's supposed to be KGB, but she doesn't even have a Russian accent. She just talks like an American. Anyway, so I lost my train of thought. That's not even the plot of the movie. They're trying to rescue the professor, and this guy Eckhart has the professor, and he's working with the Soviet colonel. His name is Kalishnikov or something, and he's a pretty good typical movie Soviet villain type, colonel type guy. And so they go on an adventure to. I think there's some pretty funny stuff from Brandon Lee, like he steals a Jeep from some like communist soldiers. They're like Cuban soldiers, and they have the accent, and he puts on a mustache and a uniform, also very similar to Roger Moore in Octopussy. He puts on the mustache and the uniform, and he sneaks into their camp, and they think he's their general, and he's talking to him in his Cuban accent. I can't do a Cuban accent, but Brandon Lee pulls it off pretty funny, like he's acting like Scarface, and he's yelling at all these soldiers. And then there's these two henchmen that are like comic relief. They're this little duo. It's a man and a woman, and they're really nerdy, and they're Cuban. They have an accent. They speak Spanish a lot of the time, and they're kind of like the comic relief characters. And he pulls it over on them, and he steals their Jeep. And those two characters are bumbling fools. They always tend to screw stuff up, and they get the general heated at them. Gosh, I can't believe I'm talking so much about this movie. But those two, they're so likable. You don't want them to die. And the one guy doesn't even it's a boy and a girl, and the guy doesn't even realize that the female is a girl, because he's kind of butch looking. Later on, they fall into the water, and her outer shirt comes off, and you can tell that she's a female. So then he's all turned on. It's kind of a little funny comic relief type stuff. But those two are really goofballish and likable, and they end up turning good. Like they get sent to slave camp for messing up, but they ended up turning good at the end. What else? Ernest Borgnine's in here, as cuddly looking as ever. This movie really drags on. I'm really spoiled with all these Don the Dragon Wilson and Jalal Murhi movies I've been watching. They're very, there's dialogue, but it's pretty fast, and it goes to the action, and then it just keeps the plot going along. This one sort of drags on a bit. I don't want to knock it, because I think I don't know how experienced this director is, and there's a lot of stuff blowing up, and a lot of fighting. Brandon Lee does a backbreaker, WWF style at one point. I think Bruce Lee used to do that in his movies too, a backbreaker. So I liked all that about it. It has a silly plot twist at the end with the girl. And then, of course, the bad guy has like a million false deaths at the end. I lost track of how many times they thought the bad guy was dead, and he kept coming back. There was a big epic shootout at the end at a diamond mine. At the very end, and there's not one single laser in this movie. I thought like it would be like Diamonds Are Forever, like they're trying to build a weapon that could destroy anything. I thought they'd show like the weapon that can destroy a continent or a planet or whatever, sort of like Diamonds Are Forever or Die Another Day type scenario. But you never even see the laser. The only reason it's called Laser Mission is because Ernest Borgnine is some kind of he's the best lasers professor in the world of laser scientists, and the bad guys are trying to use him to build a weapon, but you never even see the weapon. It's just a lot of fighting and shenanigans. That's about it, I guess. I think I went on way too far talking about this movie, but if you're a fan of Brandon Lee, there's a lot to like about this. You can tell he's a pretty funny guy, handsome dude. Fun little banter between him and the girl. The girl's very attractive. I forget her name, but I've never seen her in any other movie. But a lot of eye candy in this. What else? That's about it. Yeah, even Ernest Borgnine gets a little bit of action at the end. Like he has a shotgun. He's going around shooting the bad guys. Yeah, so I would more recommend something like any Don the Dragon Wilson movie over this, or David Bradley or any of those guys from around this time. But this is 89. It's a lot older than Don the Dragon Wilson movies. I didn't think about this. Probably it's not as good as the average Chuck Norris movie, but I mean, if you're into those cheesy, corny action movies from this time, I would give it a try, just because Brandon Lee's really really funny in it. So that's about it.